Hey guys, it's Elena. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be walking you through how I made this adorable, cute heart Valentine's themed dress. So funny story about this dress. I was on Instagram a few months ago and came across and found this reel and saved it because I was obsessed with the dress in it and was like, oh my gosh, I have to make that sometime. Fast forward to last week, a few months after that reel, and I was in Joann's and I saw this fabric and was like, wait a minute, that looks familiar. And I pulled up the reel and realized that it was the same exact fabric as that dress. And I knew that the heavens was shining down on me and I had found the fabric. So I decided to get some and I made my own version of this dress. So I was able to find a link to it. It is from ASOS. It is sold out and doesn't seem like they're making it anymore, but I just had to have my own. So I'm going to walk you through how I made it, and I hope it inspires you to make something that you see. So here is that fabric. It is so cute. And here I am cutting out all my pieces. So I am basically making a baby doll bodice with a little button loop in the back and long puff sleeves and just a gathered rectangle shaped skirt. So I'm just using a basic bodice pattern for the front and the back, and man, I'm just doing such a good job, so you can see me cutting this out. But I'm just cutting out my pieces out of the white satin, and then also all the same pieces out of the heart organza fabric. And this is everything that you will be left with. So you have a front and a back bodice, sleeve piece, and a skirt, and you want that for both satin and the organza. So the next step, once we have cut everything out, is we are going to make some darts. So this isn't necessary, but this is something I wanted to do just to get a little bit of a better fit. So I am just adding some darts. I am putting these on from a different pattern that has some side darts that I do like. This is a different pattern piece I'm using than what I cut out. So, I mean, it's not going to be exact, but it's going to give me the effect that I want. So I'm sewing these darts on and leaving a string so I can knot that. And you're going to do these darts again on both the organza and this white satin lining. We're basically doing all the same steps for both. And then once you've done that, you're going to put your front bodice and back bodice pieces together along the side seams and the shoulder seams. And then here I'm doing the exact same thing for my organza. Make sure that you are serging these raw edges because, man, these do fray a ton. So once I've done that, I have put these together, and this is what it kind of is going to look like. So I've put the lining satin fabric with the heart organza, and now I am pinning all the way around that neckline. So I decided not to use any sort of facing. I just am sewing these basically right sides together so that when I flip them out, it has a fresh and finished seam on the outside, and that raw edge is enclosed on the inside of the dress. So here is the back of the neckline. I'm basically pivoting my needle and then sewing down in this little V shape so that I can create a little slit so that I can actually fit my head through this bodice because I'm not doing any sort of zipper or anything. So I come straight down to that bottom, pivot back, and come right back up, leaving maybe half an inch between the start and the finish of this little V. And then I'm gonna bring it up to the top, pivot, and then bring it back and finish the rest of my neckline. I'm going to very, very carefully snip down this V. Make sure you do not snip through your seam, but try to get as close to the bottom as you can without actually snipping through. Once you've snipped it, you're going to put it right sides out, and here is that finished neckline and the top corners of that V. So the next step is our sleeves. So I'm basically putting the lining and the organza together. I'm going to sew down that side seam of my sleeve, and then after that I will do the gathering stitch along the top. So I'm doing my long basting stitch and then pulling on that top stitch to gather along that shoulder seam, and then I will pin that in to the armholes, and then am just attaching that with my normal seam allowance here. And here is what that looks like on the top shoulder. So the next step is I'm going to be doing my skirt. So I'm just sewing the front and back skirt pieces together on the lining and organza separately, and then I put them together and am gathering along the top. I sewed them separately first and then gathered them together at the top, and then I'm attaching them to the bodice so that the skirt pieces can flow and I can more easily hem the bottom, but that way the waist will be perfectly matched up with the waist of the lining. I have serged everything so it's looking good, and then here I am doing a double folded hem on the bottom of my sleeve, and I'm doing a double folded hem mostly so that I can put in some elastic in this, so it's kind of acting like a casing so that I can make it sort of like a little puff sleeve. This sleeve is 3/4 length, so I am leaving a little tiny space here so that I can put in my elastic, feed it through, and then tie the elastic in a knot so that it's the proper stretchiness to fit comfortably but snugly around my forearm. And then I'm just going to do the same thing and do double folded hem on the bottom of my skirt pieces. And that wraps up this dress. I hope you love it. I hope it inspires you to see something that you see online and just try to put your own spin on it. I really love how this turned out. I think it is so cute for Valentine's Day and spring, and man, I just love it. I'll see you in the next one.